This is gonna blow your mind. News, ghosts, travel, and pop culture all in one show. Ready to dive in? Let's go. From breaking headlines and eerie encounters to epic European adventures and the latest pop culture craziness, nothing's off limits. Robert, Crew, and Julie bring shock, laughs, and those wait, seriously? Moments every episode. Hit subscribe, join the fun, and ride the chaos with us. This is the Robert and Crew Show, Season 7 Unleashed.
You know what keeps me going out here? A cold Dr. Pepper and a great podcast like the Robert and Crew Show.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your co-host, Crew.
And I'm your co-host, Julie.
And tonight, we're going to be discussing the Fae. Mythical, mysterious, little fairy, gnome, goblin, ghoul-like creatures. Even gnomes. Some people even classify mermaids as Fae. So quite a few different things can be Fae. One that a lot of people probably know of, and they've been told stories of, which Julie actually mentioned earlier before we were on live, is house brownies. Tiny little elves that live in people's houses that steal your socks, your lighters, and everything else that you just leave. But they always return them. So house brownies are a main one. And then you have elves. And yes, I said elves. I'm not talking like Lord of the Rings elves. Like, we're not talking like sexy legless elves. We're talking
about the elves from like Harry Potter.
Yeah, we're talking about tiny
the
little
elves in the shoemaker.
tiny little creatures like Keebler elves. Tiny little creatures. A lot of them look creepy though. They don't look like they're cute old people. They look like creepy freaking sharp teeth, big noses sometimes. They look a little ghoulish. Like, the only difference between a ghoul and a elf and like the Fae is ghouls are basically undead. Elves are alive.
Funny fact, when we told Julie that the episode was going to be about the Fae Part 2, because we did the Fae Season 1, Julie thought we were talking about fairy tales.
I mean, which, to be fair, some fairy tales actually do tie directly in with the Fae.
Yes. And it reminded me of Rumpelstiltskin.
Snow White and the Seven what?
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes, I can't pronounce
I'm
it very
asking you
good.
a question. What's it called, guys? Snow White and the Seven what?
No. Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin he's not even real.
Actually, he is.
What, the Sandman?
He's not the Sandman.
Rumpelstiltskin is not a real character. He's a character that resides in Celtic mythology that was stolen by Disney, that was used as whatever for whatever.
It was never in a Disney movie at all. Actually,
Rumpelstiltskin is in Shrek.
No. Yeah, that's not a Disney movie.
He helps out a little girl when the king kidnaps her, and when the father says that she can make gold with straw, and that little Rumpelstiltskin helps her make gold, but he owns her now. And it's a little whimsical little guy.
Literally the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a fake creature.
Okay, so DreamWorks Animations is not Disney. And that's what
DreamWorks is directly related to Disney. Yes, they are.
Hold on. You're thinking of Pixar. I'll settle this. Give me a second.
DreamWorks and Pixar are the same thing, aren't they?
Nope.
Not that I know of.
I'm looking up right now.
DreamWorks is the dude with the fishing pole sitting on the moon.
Nope.
Fishing.
Nope.
That's Disney. Okay, right here. It says this right here. No, DreamWorks is not part of Disney. DreamWorks Animations is actually subsidiary of Universal Pictures, which is owned by Comcast.
Okay, so they're owned by Universal.
Yeah.
Big difference. It's
Okay.
not really that big of a difference. Disney and Universal are the two monopolies that run the movie industry.
Okay.
But they have collaborated with each other in the past.
Yeah. No, like so, but anyways, Rumpelstiltskin is not a fake creature. He's not
Actually, hold on. I will look it
oh
up.
my
I will
god.
look it up.
What are you trying to fucking do here, crew? It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. No offense. But like fuck. Like Rumpelstiltskin is fake as fuck.
It probably did the what you call them.
It's a myth. It's
Yeah.
a mythos. It's a fairy tale. It's a kid's story, bedtime story. That's what it is. Rumpelstiltskin. The only reason I know about Rumpelstiltskin anyways is because of Disney. They literally had a TV show called Once Upon a Time, and Rumpelstiltskin is like a big character.
That's not Disney. That's not Disney.
It's literally all the Disney characters. I don't care that it's
there's
not made by
Disney
Disney. It's
characters in
literally
there.
all the Peter fucking Pan, fucking Captain Hook, fucking all literally Snow White. Okay, sleep.
Okay, but you got to remember they were.
No, I understand. I'm saying it's literally the Disney characters.
Yeah, those
It
are
has
Disney
a direct
characters.
tie to Disney. Don't fucking tell me I'm wrong because that's stupid. Like they wouldn't be able to use those characters if they didn't pay Disney. They have a direct relation to Disney. The people that made that show. They wouldn't have been able to make it if they did or whatever because Disney owns the rights to all of those characters. Every last one of them.
But it was actually produced by ABC.
Who works directly with Disney. ABC has multiple contracts with Disney. They show Disney movies on ABC all the time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, but we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah.
I'm saying that Rumpelstiltskin is not a fake creature. So prove me wrong.
Hold on.
The real story
Give
is
me a second.
Man, I feel like I'm fighting with a child. I want to know this. You got me intrigued because I've never heard the actual story, I guess, or myth of Rumpelstiltskin. I thought he was supposed to be like the Sandman. He comes in and he gets into your dreams and shit. And then he like grants you a wish.
Not this one.
Okay. Come on. People need to stop. I'm trying to read something.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'll turn my phone off, guys. It just made a loud, annoying noise.
Yeah, it was a chat that messaged both of us, and I'm like, we're in the middle of something.
I just turned off my phone. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Here's what Rumpelstiltskin is a character from the classic fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin, which
fairy tale.
The only adaptions that Rumpelstiltskin has been in: Once Upon a Time, Entangled.
Boom.
Original fairy tale. Hold on. Original fairy tale. Hold on.
What's Tangled?
Original. Let me say this real quick.
No, I need you to hear. I need you to say it.
Brothers Grimm. Brothers Grimm. That's what I was trying to say.
Who curated Tangled?
Okay, but let me finish because this is where Rumpelstiltskin's actually originally from. And Brothers Grimm is not Disney.
No, the Brothers Grimm is the original fairy tales.
Right.
The Brothers Grimm does not own Snow White. The Brothers Grimm does not own Tangled. The Brothers Grimm does not own all of that. Disney owns all of that. So what I was saying still holds up.
Okay, but here's the thing. You got to remember. Disney uses fairy tale characters all the time. But
Tell me how Rumpelstiltskin
Rump-
is Faye. That
Okay.
was the whole original argument here. Like, I
Okay.
don't know why we are talking about Disney right now.
Because we're on the topic of fairy tales, okay, which is part of the Fae. Because Julie, for some reason, thinks fairy tales is Fae.
I
No
love it when
offense,
Julie
Julie.
gets pissed off.
That's the joke of the day.
Come on, let's go.
All right. Is Rumpelstiltskin Fae? Let's see.
Here, I got you.
I'm looking up now.
Oh no,
Hold on.
I don't trust you looking up.
I got something here. All right, here we go.
In a fey creature.
Germanic folklore. In the original fairy tale collected by Brothers Grimm, Rumpelstiltskin is depicted as a supernatural being with magic powers, often interpreted as a gnome, imp, or kobold.
As a dwarf. He's a dwarf.
No, interpreted as a gnome, imp, or kobold.
Listen. Please tell me, is Rumpelstiltskin a fey creature?
Did you just say he was a gnome?
Creature. He's a character from a German fairy tale.
No,
by the brother.
I said, is Rumpelstiltskin a fey creature?
Oh, I see. Yeah, in some interpretations, Rumpelstiltskin's considered a fey-like creature in folklore. In the Brothers Grimm tale, he's this mysterious, magical being with impish vibes, striking deals and demanding high prices, which totally fits the tricky nature of fey in European mythology.
But was he a fey creature?
The story doesn't explicitly label him as fey, but his magical abilities and trickster nature strongly echo fey characteristics in European folklore. So, while not outright called a fairy, he's often interpreted as fey-like by scholars and storytellers.
You can argue that Rumpelstiltskin is fey because of his characteristics, but he is not a fey creature.
So, in Germanic folklore,
yes, Rumpelstiltskin comes from German folklore, collected by the Brothers Grimm in the early 19th century. The tale's roots are deeply Germanic, with the name itself tied to Old German words, Rumpel meaning rattle or clatter, and Stiltskin suggesting a small figure. It's a classic story from the German tradition. Want more on its cultural background?
No, thank you.
ask if Rumpelstiltskin is considered like gnome, imp, or kobold.
He's an imp. She said that already.
Yeah, it also says gnome and kobold.
Well, she only said he was an imp.
Well, I have it right here on my AI thing.
Yeah.
It says right here, in the original fairy tale collected by the Brothers Grimm, Rumpelstiltskin is depicted as a supernatural being with magical powers, often interpreted as a gnome, imp, which she said imp, Grok did, plus kobold. Fey connection, fey characteristics, magical abilities, trickster nature, and otherworldly presence as reminiscent of fey characteristics found in folklore and fantasy.
She's trying to talk to you.
What?
So, about those fey characteristics found in folklore and fantasy, you're right. Rumpelstiltskin's got that vibe. His magical deal-making, shape-shifting tendencies, and cryptic name game scream fey, like gnomes or elves in Germanic tales. Those beings often mess with humans, offering power with a catch, just like he does. Want me to explore how he compares to other fey creatures, or is there something specific about her trying to do? I'm all ears.
No.
Yeah, so basically you can argue that he's fey because of his characteristics, but he was never named to be a fey creature.
Right.
Okay.
So, sure. You got me, bro. You got me with the
Is it-
definitive argument.
Because it seems like it'd be some type of gnome person.
Well, he does have those
Gnomes
characteristics, but you can't specifically say he is because it's not said he is a Fae. It's just he has Fae tendencies.
Okay.
I actually believe that I have seen a gnome,
So
and
right.
I want to tell you that, like, don't, like, sure, you want to laugh at it, cool, whatever. But I was at I worked early mornings at a school, and I had to basically open up the school at 6 o'clock in the morning, and no kids are there. This is an elementary school. So I'd go in, I'd start my shift up. I would get to my area, fix up all my stuff for the kids that came in early before school. And I was in the library that day. Nobody was there. It was like 5:40 in the morning. Nobody is there. Not a single freaking person, just me. And I hear laughing. And I turn and I look, and right there by the bookshelves, because there's like 4 bookshelves in a line in the library, right there by the bookshelves, peeking over the corner, is this tiny creature thing with a giant hat. Like, it really looked like your normal gnome hat. Like, it was so weird. And it was just like laughing at me, and it ran out of the room. I tried to follow it. By the time I got into the hallway, it was gone. I never saw it again. That's the only experience I've ever had with a creature like that. I didn't believe in that shit at first. Like, to be quite honest, I thought it was all like a bunch of BS. But I saw something, and it wasn't an alien.
You want to know something funny? It was Jamie who messaged me
Yeah.
a screenshot, and I'm like in the middle of looking it up, and I'm like, okay. So Jamie's even said I was right. You were wrong about Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin is not a fake creature. I
Hey,
mean, you
thinking
guys
of
can say
gnomes.
whatever you want, but like literally, it states that
Hey,
he's
but
not. He's
anyways,
a
moving
completely
on
different
from that
creature.
topic. Thank you, Jamie, for that. But yeah, I
Whatever.
sent you
Fuck
a bunch
all
of information.
y'all. Y'all are full of shit.
I sent you a bunch of information, brother.
Yeah, those are gnomes.
Yeah,
Gnomes. I
Yeah,
love
no,
it.
and here's
I
the thing
I'm
collect
about
not
them.
going to
no.
read information when I know what I'm talking about.
There might be information in there that you don't know about specific fake creatures that I sent you.
If we want to go into specific fake creatures
Okay.
and start
All right.
talking about them.
All right. Hold on.
No. Like, what specific fake creature do you want to talk about?
All right. I'm gonna. Okay.
And let's
So
talk about it. Let's not read off a fucking computer. I'm
the
sick of
household
reading.
fae. I want to see if you know the household phase.
There's house brownies, there's fairies, and there's also different kinds of. So some people claim that ghouls have gotten into their basements before, and other people have also claimed that, like, dark elves or elves that are not very nice have shown up.
Okay. So fairies are not in the household fae.
Fairies don't have to actually be in the household fae, but they can appear and show up to people at their house.
Fairies are in the okay, so in the trooping fae, you got the trooping fairies, solitary fae. Let's see. I don't see fairies in there.
See, and then read from this.
Changelings and child. Oh, there's fairy kidnappers and the changelings and child takers. Elementals and okay, so no fairies in there. Oh, other notable fae, you got fairy queens, Corrigans, Spriggans, and dwarfs.
Yeah.
But I do not
You
see
know what
fairies.
though? When I think of dwarfs, I think of the actual dwarfs. I mean, of people. And I've seen a person when I was little that was one. That was very short. And I'm like,
Can we
Is
bring back
he
the
for
word
real?
midget yet? Is that
I'm
still
sorry?
offensive? Can I say midget? Is that still offensive?
I don't know if it is or not, but
Like,
I've seen one.
I have a friend who's a midget, and he doesn't give a crap that I call him midget. He doesn't care. And like I've heard all these people are like, no, that's wrong. You need to call them small people. And I'm like, I think that's even more offensive.
Yeah, I can't stand being called little or small.
A little
Okay.
person or a small person.
So,
They'd rather be called a dwarf.
yeah. So the household fae, these fae are tied to domestic spaces, often assisting or troubling humans based on how they're treated. They're typically tied to a specific home or family. So you got the brownie, which are Scottish.
It's house brownies.
You got the hob, which are English, similar to the brownies.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Then you got Domove, which
What
is a
are the
household spirit.
dumblers?
I think
Oh.
he said that wrong. There's no way he said that right.
Domovoi is Slavic.
It's Slavic.
Slavic, whatever. Let's see. Often depicted as a bearded man who protects the home and livestock. They reward diligent families but punish neglect with pranks. Offerings like bread or milk are left under floorboards.
Oh, wow. Hey, thinking of that, right? Yesterday I had thought about giving my breadcrumbs out to the birds, but then I didn't feel comfortable throwing it out my window. Guess what? This morning, sometime today, I found a piece of that bread on my floor, and I'm like, where in the world did that come from? That was funny.
And then the last thing on the household fae is a kobold or a bold, a Germanic, versatile spirits who can be helpful in homes or minds, but turn mischievous if respected.
Yeah, mischievous. They're
Yeah,
crazy. They're unpredictable. They go
they're
and do weird things that are kind of naughty sometimes.
yeah. They're often invisible or shapeshift into small humanoids or animals. Nature Fae. I want to see if you know what these ones are, real quick.
What, like in nature?
Yeah, so these Fae are tied to specific natural elements or locations, acting as guardians or embodiments of the landscape. So let's see if you know what they
Well,
are.
obviously, if it's outdoor in the woods, you've got your fairies for sure.
No, there's no fairies in this list.
What are you talking about? Fairies are a huge part of the fae.
Not this list. I'll go over the list real quick.
So I'm literally like I'm confused because you're like we're talking about the fae, but anytime I mention fairies, you're like nope, 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 nope. Fairies.
Hold on. So the dryad, you got dryad, which is Greek, adapted into European folklore. You got the nixie / neck, Germanic / Scandinavian. Then you got synth or Siloth, alchemical or Paralosian.
That have wings and are literally fairies.
Then you got the gnome, and then Willow the wisp.
Hmm.
Because when I asked for types of fae, no fairies were put in any of these except for the trooping fairies.
Because I saw fairies on a list earlier today.
Because
That's weird.
fairies are the number one fae creature. They're literally the number one fae creature, and Shaitan's over here saying that fairies aren't fae. Like that's the.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're not fae.
You literally just said they're not on any of your lists.
Right, they're not, because the only fairies that I see in the list are trooping fairies.
Well, your list is wrong.
Hold on. Give me one moment.
Your list is fucking wrong.
Give me one moment, bro. Give me one moment. I will be right back.
And I know that to be a fact because fairies are one of the number one things in the Fae.
Yep. And
They
thinking
stay
of
in mushroom
fairies,
gardens. They inhabit. You can literally build houses for them. They will come to your home. You're not supposed to leave the Fae offerings. If you leave the Fae an offering, that means you're willing to work with it. If you're willing to work with it, that's not always a good thing. And some Fae creatures take that literal, and basically, it can end really bad for you if you upset the creature. If it had, like, for instance, if it's magical, like a pixie or a fairy, and you upset it, it can curse you. It can make things disappear. Important things that you need can go missing. Just bad luck in general. I mean, there are so many different things that can happen from
So
upsetting
they
a
are
few.
in the nature, but they were not added to the list for some reason. I looked it up.
Yeah, because fairies are the biggest part of the Fae. Like, they are literally the biggest part of the Fae. Like, the Fae was created because of, well, I wouldn't say it was created because literally the creatures that are talked about within the Fae come from different parts of the world. So it's literally just a a list of creatures that sound similar or the same that are all put together that are basically what people know now around the world as the Fae or Fae creatures. And so big ones that not a lot of people talk about are like trolls. Trolls, for instance, are big Fae creatures, and a lot of them are supposedly in the woods, and they cloak themselves during the day by turning into stone. But at night, when the sun goes down, the trolls come out of their slumber and they walk around, supposedly.
So check this out. I just looked this up as well. Fairies do not fit in the category with the household and the solitary and the elemental and alchemical fae.
hmm, okay. I
That's
was
something
gonna
I did
tell
not
you.
know.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you a brief little story. That my mom told me when they were children that they used to make up these little fairy paper dolls and stuff and take them in the woods
Yeah,
to entertain her younger sisters, and they always thought that they were real.
right.
And so that was kind of a fun, interesting fact that I found out.
Well,
I
I mean, I know it's not the real fairies, but kind of still neat.
I've seen some pretty weird things in my life,
so have I.
and I can tell you that when you go into the middle of the woods by yourself, you will start to see things that normally you wouldn't be able to see because you're in perfect vibration with the earth. If you take your shoes off, you'll directly connect to the earth. And when you do that, you can see into other dimensions, especially if you get into a state of meditation, which the woods tends to bring out in people because it's
Oh
super
yeah.
calming. It's super calming and it's super nice. Well, when you get into that state, that's when the Fae appear because you can see them.
So, I want to add on to the story what me and Rob seen in Burrock Woods.
Oh
What do you
yeah,
think, bro?
we saw a fairy.
No, we didn't just see fairies. Okay, so what Rob's talking about, Julie, about the removing your shoes and shit.
Yeah.
me and Rob did this little test. We went into a place called Burke Woods, it's our big natural reserve in Blue Springs, Missouri, from where we're both from.
Yeah.
And cool thing about that, which I'm going to do a little history lesson. Jesse James and his brother's house the foundations are still standing there, just the houses aren't. And supposedly he hid his gold there.
But
So-
everybody's looked and nobody's ever found it.
So while me and Rob were looking for gold nonstop, we decided to take our shoes off because our feet were hurting. So we would go into this little one part of the woods. And we took our shoes off, and there's no leaves, no grass, just dirt, dried dirt, right? So we would set up camp there for a little bit, get our food, get our drinks, relax, do a little fire because it's at nighttime, and we were staying out there for the night, and we're technically not supposed to.
Well, we didn't do a fire in Burr Oaks.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did a small fire.
I don't remember that.
Well, this was around our senior year, and we were pretty stoned too.
I mean, I don't doubt it, but I'm not going to admit to that. I don't remember ever doing that, nor would I ever do something like that. So this is for entertainment purposes
Yeah.
only.
Okay, but anyway,
Everything that crew is saying right now is all alleged and cannot be proven and will
Okay.
not be proven.
anyways,
Yeah.
so back to story time. So we were eating. It's around 6 o'clock at night. We figured we'd take a break. We got bored, so we took our shoes off to relax. And since I'm Native American, I said, let's try this and see if we can get one with nature and see if we can see if the spirits can help us. So we did that. And we didn't just see fairies, we saw pixies.
Yeah.
And not the type of pixies like you see in Harry Potter that fly. Not those blue kinds, the ones that actually walk around that can be nice, but if you mess with them in the wrong way, they can be very mean.
I just remember being out in the woods and seeing what I originally thought was a dragonfly fly right up next to me. And then I registered that it had feet, like human looking feet. And it was insect size. And it flew right past me and it was gone. And I
That's
never,
neat.
I didn't get a real good look at it. But to this day, I'm like, that was fucking weird. Like, that was not normal. I've never seen anything like that. Just like the gnome experience that I had in the school. Like, weird. Like, I've never had experiences like that ever again. Those are experiences that happen one time and then they just never happen again. It's super weird.
And
but those experiences are the entire reason I believe in the Fae.
And with my little sister being, big about gnomes and everything, I will say this. I don't like gnomes whatsoever.
How come?
Back in 2022, when I was temporarily living with them before I moved into where I live now, me and Rob would go to Broke Woods a lot. And I was home alone. Rob was at work. And I didn't work that day because I was working a fast food place at the time and I had the day off. So I just figured I'd rest at home. Well, instead of going to Broke Woods like I would do by myself, I stayed home and I hear ruffling outside. No one's outside. It's in the middle of spring. I go outside to see if the kids were just getting home from school. Nope. I saw one of her gnomes in a different spot than it originally was. Because in 30 minutes prior, I went outside to smoke a cigarette, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I decide, I look, I put the gnome back. Go back inside. Hear ruffling again. Goes back in the same spot. So I shrugged it off and just went back inside because I was like, "Yep, nope, I'm not. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not dealing with no gnomes tonight."
Yeah. You know what though is very interesting? We have some hiking trails back in West Virginia, and the one trail we went on that day had this spot that looked like it was in a fairy tale. I mean, it was just the grass or the was just so green and luscious. It was kind of like
A meadow.
yes, that's it. And it was almost like you were going to just see something come out at any minute. And I mean, it was just so whimsical. I can't,
Whimsical.
yeah. And
Whimsical.
it was just so pretty. I mean, it made you just want to stay there for a while and just absorb it all in.
So back to the list. I want to go back to the list real quick. The
Of course,
trooping fae.
yes.
So trooping fae. These are social fae who live in organized groups, often in hierarchical court structure, and are central to Celtic tradition.
Celtic.
Celtic,
No,
yeah.
it's not the same. Celtic is
Celtic, yeah,
correct.
whatever. Okay, yeah, okay. Back to what I was saying. Elves, Germanic and Celtic, elegant human-like fae, often immortal or long-lived, living. Hold on. Where was I at? Living in hidden realms like Alfine, North, or fairy mounds. That they range from benevolent, like elves, to dangerous, like dark elves, akin to dwarves. In Celtic tales, they're often part of the Seelie or unseelie courts. So that's elves. Then you got the side he, which is Irish, pronounced she. These are noble fae, possibly descended from the Tuatha de Danahan, Ireland's mystical gods. They live in fairy mounds and are regal, powerful, and cabarish. They're often human-sized, beautiful, and skilled in magic or warfare. And then you got pixies, English or Cornish. Small, mischievous fae with pointed ears, often winged in later depictions. They love dancing and leading humans astray. They're tied to specific regions like Dartmoor or Cornwall. Then you got the trooping fairies, which is Celtic. Generic term for fae who travel in groups, often seen in processions or fairy raids. They belong to the Seelie, benevolent but tricky, or unseelie, malicious courts. Encountering a fairy raid might trap humans in their realm. So never go near a trooping fairy.
Okay. Hey, did you say elves too?
Yeah, the dark and light elves.
Okay. I'm just this is just out of curiosity. But remember the fairy tale about the elves and the shoemakers?
Yes,
Are elves similar to that at all?
that's what
No.
elves are.
So
Okay.
the elves
Yeah,
that
no,
I'm
the
talking
elves.
about are from like Alfine from like Thor.
No, correct. Yes. What he's talking about right now are a different kind of elf. But what you're talking about, yes, is also a part of the Fae.
Yes.
Tiny little elves, yes,
Yeah.
they are also part of the Fae.
Yes. But the Fae, about the Fae kind I was talking about though, Julie, that are from Alfheim, and they're like they're giant like.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
bigger. They're bigger than normal.
Have you ever seen Thor, Julie?
Thor.
Yeah, the MCU version. Marvel.
I've seen Thor.
Okay, do you remember those giant like icy looking creatures at the
I
beginning of the
believe
movie?
so.
Those are elves. They're Alfheim.
Okay.
And they can be either light or dark. Now, solitary Fae, these Fae operate alone, often tied to specific locations or roles, and are less social than trooping Fae. You got the leprechaun, which is Irish, small bearded men known for their shoemaking skills and hidden pots of gold. They're tricksters who grant wishes if caught, but often escape through cunning. Modern depictions exaggerate their whimsical nature. Then you got Banshee, which is also Irish, a female spirit who wails to foretell death, often tied to specific families. She's not always malevolent, sometimes acting as a mournful messenger. She appears as a young woman, old hag, or ghostly figure. Then you got the Puka, Irish, shape shifting tricksters, often appearing as animals. Horses like horses or goats. They can be helpful or harmful, offering rides that end in wild journeys or misfortune. Their motives are unpredictable. Then you got the red cap, Scottish English border. Malevolent goblins who haunt ruins or castles, dyeing their caps with victims' blood. They're fast, strong, and armed with iron weapons, making them deadly. Then you get the Selkie, Scottish, Irish, Pharisees. I guess that's how you say it.
Yeah, the Pharisees.
Yeah. Skill like Fae who shed their skins to become human on land. They're often female, marrying humans who steal their seal skins, but they long to return to the sea.
So the picture that I just threw up on the screen is supposedly of a dead leprechaun, and it was found in somebody's attic, and supposedly their grandfather had it before they did.
Huh.
Wow.
And even better up close photo of it is here.
Oh, that's creepy looking.
That's supposedly a leprechaun.
Yeah.
And if you do have their pot of gold, they have to grant your wish.
Yeah.
But they can be very trickster like and make the wish different. If they
Yeah.
so choose.
I've heard of that.
Well, they
All right.
twist your words, basically.
I've always liked Darby O'Neill and the Little People.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful with your words when you're asking for a wish from a leprechaun.
Oh yeah. You got to.
Yeah, you don't want to say the wrong thing and then boom, something really bad happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So number 5 on this list, we got changelings and child takers. Some Fae are notorious for stealing human children, leaving substitutes, or causing harm. Changeling, a Fae child or object left in place of a stolen human baby. In folklore, Fae take healthy children, leaving sickly or strange substitutes. Methods to expel changelings include fire, iron, or trickery, like brewery, beer, in eggshells to confuse them. Then you got the the fairy kidnappers. Many fae, especially the Sidhe or Unseelie, abduct humans, particularly children or young adults, to join their realm as servants, lovers, or entertainment. Time in the fairy realm often distorts with years passing like days.
What's the story about the group of fairies that would catch humans and they would make them dance until they died?
I
Oh
don't
man, I've
remember.
heard of that.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Like,
That
yeah,
is.
let
I've
me look
heard
that
of
up
it.
real
I've
quick.
heard of it, but I don't remember what the story's called.
Hey, Grok, what was the story about the Fey fairies that made people dance until they died?
Oh, you mean the legend of the Will-o'-the-Wisp? Or maybe the fairy rings? In some old stories, fey creatures, like the Will-o'-the-Wisp in European folklore, would lead people into wild dances and enchanted circles, fairy rings, until they collapse from exhaustion, or, yeah, sometimes die. The fae were tricksters, luring folks with music or lights into a dance they couldn't stop. It's creepy, but fascinating, right? Want me to dig into a specific tale about this?
Were there actual reports of people dancing until they died?
Not really any solid documented cases, but there are historical accounts and folklore that hint at it. Like in the Middle Ages, there was the dancing plague in Strasbourg in 1518, where people danced uncontrollably for days. Some supposedly died from exhaustion or heart failure. Maybe 50
Yeah.
to 400 folks were affected, though exact numbers are fuzzy. No fairies in the reports, just mass hysteria, or maybe ergot poisoning messing with their heads. Could have inspired those creepy fae stories, though. Want me to chase down more on the dancing plague or the fairy angle?
Did you say ergot poisoning, like LSD ergot poisoning?
Yeah, exactly like that. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye and other grains, and it has this chemical in it that's similar to LSD. Pretty trippy stuff. Back in medieval times, eating bread made from infected grain could mess with your head, causing hallucinations, convulsions, or even wild behavior like uncontrollable dancing. Some historians think it might explain weird events like the 1518 dancing plague in Strasbourg, where people danced themselves to death. No fairies needed, just bad bread. Want me to dive deeper into how ergot works or its role in history?
Could ergot be single-handedly responsible for the Fae?
Not entirely, but it probably played a part. Ergot poisoning could have caused those bizarre hallucinations and behaviors that people later blamed on mischievous fae. Back then, folks didn't know about fungi toxins, so wild visions or dancing fits, easy to pin on fairies. Plus, ergot's effects, seeing lights, hearing music, match those will-o'-the-wisp stories. But fae legends also tie into older pagan beliefs and nature spirits, so ergot's just one piece of the puzzle. Want to hear more about how folklore and science mix here?
No, thank you.
No problem.
All right.
All right, so there's a good
Yeah.
chance that all those people didn't actually get danced to death by fairies, but actually ate bread that was laced with ergot, which is basically like eating LSD.
Yeah, because I've seen some videos on TikTok
That's
about
crazy.
that.
That's crazy.
All right. Number 6, elemental and alchemical fae, influenced by Renaissance occultism. These fae are tied to 4 elements. You got the salamanders, which are fire spirits appearing as flames or fiery creatures. They're linked to transformation and alchemy, rarely interacting with uh interacting with humans directly. Kind of like that fiery salamander from Frozen 2.
Yeah.
That basically that's Faye.
Okay.
And then you got the undines, which are water spirits similar to nixies, embodying the fluidity and emotion of water. They're often female and seductive.
Kind of like mermaids.
No.
No.
Okay.
This is way different than a mermaid.
Mermaids have been considered fae, but a lot of people actually branch them off into their own species because there's a chance that mermaids actually exist. But the thing with mermaids is the reason why they're not accepted directly into fae culture is because in the fae culture, they have a thing called a siren. And a siren is literally basically exactly what a mermaid is, but scarier. It lures
Okay.
you into the water and then devours you.
Yeah.
And it usually lures men into the water.
And the only way to get out of that is earwax.
Okay.
Really?
I've heard of stories about that.
See,
Where
you put
men have
earwax
been
in your
lured.
ears when you're
Yeah.
out in the sea and you know that area is known for sirens. It'll
Yeah.
block out the song.
Just get some earplugs.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, they had earwax,
Yeah.
but now we have earplugs, which work
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
But undines, no, Julie, they're water spirits.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
like water pixies, but
Yeah.
they're a little
Okay.
bit.
Not pixies, not pixies, nixies.
Yeah,
Nixie.
nixies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Uh,
I've heard of that before.
yeah.
I've heard a
So-
story about a legend of these water spirits calling in the guys and during the night. And if you listen to the music, you'd be lured right into the water and drown.
Oh, geez, that's
Right.
kind of freaky.
So after that, after the undines, we got the selfs and the gnomes, as mentioned, tied to air and earth, respectively, representing intellectual and material aspects of nature.
How come I saw a gnome inside of a school?
I don't know.
See, I've always wondered, is it because of all of the child energy that is there, and they like to play with children? Like,
Yeah.
That's
Could
a
that have-
possibility.
could
I
that have
mean,
been what it was? I mean,
there
it
might be
freaks me out so much.
there might be ghosts of children in that school, and you don't know
Yeah,
it.
but this thing didn't look like a ghost. This thing actually looked like it was there in the room with me, and it was very small. Like it wasn't like stupid small, but it was like it went up to my leg height. Like if it was a child, it would have been a very small child. It would have been a toddler.
I
But
know, but what I'm saying is maybe there's also spirits in the school besides that little gnome.
I never saw any other spirits or heard any other spirits in the school. I did occasionally hear children laughing though, which would freak me out. I would tend to like kind of block it out when I was there by myself. You just kind of learn to let it go over your shoulder.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I heard things like that. And I never saw any other spirits in that school besides the gnome thing that I saw in the school. In the school that I work at now, I've seen some things that I cannot explain. Paranormal, not fae related. All
Yeah.
paranormal, all spirit related. But I feel like schools harbor energy for those kind of things because first off, they've been around for a long time. That building has been there for a long time. It's on land that we don't know where the land came from or who owned the land first. And then on top of that, some of the stuff or some of the schools, they just have a lot of child energy. So childlike creatures or things that like children would show up there, such as fey creatures like gnomes or fairies, occasionally like ghouls or things like that. But ghouls are
Yeah.
scary and they don't normally go to children's schools, but you might find a ghoul hiding under your kid's bed. That's
Yeah.
where the whole monster under the bed comes from. Is
Yeah.
in Norway, they had things that were called under the bed ghouls. But basically, they're little creatures that live under your bed with really, really, really sharp teeth that come out and freak the ever living shit out of you if you get out of bed when you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
It's literally a story that they would tell children to make them stay in bed all night.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard. I think that's probably why I was scared to get out of my bed.
Yeah, well, it kind of evolved, because then kids all around the world like started having nightmares of things underneath their beds. And I
And then
believe,
there's been stories of people actually under children's beds.
yeah, or weird things under a bed.
Yeah,
And it's it's really weird how that works.
it
How
is.
I think there's some truth behind like if you put your energy or a bunch of energy into something that you'll manifest something.
Oh yeah.
But
That's why I try to think good and positive thoughts before I go to sleep.
For sure.
before I get into cultural variations, because that's the last part, but the other notable fae, before I get to the cultural part. Fairy queens, powerful female fae like Mab, English, Titania, Shakespearean, or the Morrigan, Irish, sometimes linked fae. Ruled over courts or wield immense magic. They're often seductive but dangerous. The uh, Corrigans, Britain, Britain Fae, often female, who live near springs or forests. They can be benevolent or vengeful, sometimes luring men to their doom.
Yeah, the fake creatures love luring men to their deaths.
Yeah. Then you got the Spriggans, Cornish, ugly small fae who guard buried treasure and cause mischief. They can grow to giant size to protect their domains. Then you got the dwarfs, Germanic/North. Skilled craftsmen living underground, often conflated with dark elves. They forge magical items, Thor's hammer, for example, but can be greedy or vengeful. Now I'm going to get into the cultural variations. So we got the Celtic, which is Irish, Scottish, Welsh. Fae, like the Sidhe, Banshee, or Puka, are deeply tied to the land, often living in mounds or under hills. They're noble but dangerous, with a strong sense of honor. Germanic/Scandinavian elves and dwarves emphasize craftsmanship and elemental ties, with light and dark elves reflecting moral duality. Then you got the Slavic, Fae like the Domovoi or the Lushy forest spirits are practical tied to survival and the home, with less emphasis on glamour. French/Britain, the Corrigans and other Fae blend Celtic and Romance elements, often seductive and tied to water or forest. Common traits and depictions, or distinctions, sorry. Despite their diversity, Fae share traits, magic and rules. All Fae wield magic and are bound by specific rules. Aversion to iron, inability to lie outright, or obligation to keep bargains. Ambiguity. Most Fae are neither fully good nor evil, acting according to their own logic. Connection to place. Whether a forest, home, or mound, fae are tied to specific locations, unlike more nomadic, mythical creatures. Differences arise in their roles: household helpers versus nature guardians, appearance, human-like versus monstrous, and temperament, benevolent, seelie versus cruel, unseelie. Their cultural specifically makes them distinct from generic fantasy creatures, grounding them in local traditions.
So they tend to stay in one place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like they grow up somewhere or they live somewhere and that's where they are forever.
But do you want me to go over the rules for interacting with the Fae?
Well, yeah, you can. You should never offer anything to the Fae, to be quite
Oh,
honest.
yeah. So Fae are known for their strict, often unspoken rules. And interacting with them requires caution. Common guidelines from folklore include respect their nature, never speak ill of the Fae, as they may retaliate. Use polite emphasis like fair folk. Avoid their spaces. Fae are tied to specific places like fairy rings, mushroom circles, mounds, or ancient trees. Entering these without permission can invite trouble. Do not accept gifts or food. Eating Fae food or accepting gifts might bind you to their realm or will. In some tales, humans who eat Fae food age rapidly or cannot leave the other world. Guard your true name. Knowing a Fae's true name grants power over them. But the reverse is also true. Sharing your soul name could enslave you to the Fae across lifetimes. Be cautious of deals. Fae are deal makers, but their bargains often have hidden costs. A Fae might grant a wish, but twist it to cause harm. For example, a human marked by a Fae's crest might gain longevity, but remain bound to the Fae's will. Use protection, iron, salt, or certain herbs like St. John's wort, a believed to repel Fae. Running water or turning clothes inside out can also disrupt their enchantments.
Turning clothes inside out?
Yeah,
Weird.
these rules stem from the Fae's unpredictable nature. They are neither inherently good nor evil, but follow their own logic, which humans often misinterpret.
Misinterpret.
Yeah. So that's the rules.
All right.
The rules.
But that's the information I have. We got some videos for y'all.
Hello. I'm here to help confuse you entirely regarding what a fairy is by trying to explain what they actually are. To get even an ounce of understanding regarding Irish, Celtic, Norse, Germanic, Aztec, Mayan, and a dozen other cultures, you gotta understand some things about where we get their stories and why they aren't really complete. I'm gonna race through this quickly, so bear with me. In a time long since past, a bunch of small groups of people had tiny cultures all over the place. They told neat, silly stories and danced in flower fields while wild animals gobbled them up. It was a fun time when things to be afraid of were actually at your front door. But then, Rome and England and Spain and probably a couple others slapped their swords on the table, killed everyone, burned everything, and built a couple of churches.
So people in the past few centuries who were curious about the now snuffed magic in the world get to look back on the burnt scraps of folklore. And almost all of the books regarding fables in modern day are written by literate people who went out into the backwoods and the boonies of countless countries and spent a couple weeks talking to Grandpa Dinkus while he was 3 moonshines deep, and then later in their writing added some pizzazz to the retold bedtime stories that this old kook heard while he slept on a straw bed. So, all that out of the way, let's try and jump through mythology to put together what a fairy is. Right off the bat, they come from several cultures and changed form as they went, but the earliest ones that I can find were just called She, generally meaning people from the earth, or people who live inside that big mound of dirt right over there. So they're sort of like primordial elemental nature spirits. These old Celtic fairies actually inspired the Greeks to create nymphs, who are also nature spirits that behave like fairies. The idea of little hill people eventually led to another bleed over with Norse dwarves, which is why we have these little gnome dwarf fairy dudes who say hi-ho before they even meet the hoe in the movie. Then you get the Swedish elves or elves that look like gnomes. Like this lady in Adventure Time, I think her name is Olva.
Hey, that's you! Your name's Olva. Hi, Olva.
She's Swedish. I bet you didn't know that these little caps that every gnome wears are called Phrygian caps, and although the caps normally make the gnomes invisible at will, I like this idea. They don't want to discover gravity. But in every original lore, elves are actually gnomes. They weren't taller than people till Tolkien rolled around. It seems to be kind of a forgotten fact, but The Lord of the Rings is self-described as a profoundly Catholic work. So Tolkien definitely snuck angels into the story under one of the several names for dwarves. I don't get why hobbits weren't called gnomes. The word hobbit actually is derived from, it means hole builder. Are you confused yet? Good, because the word gnome actually popped up in the 1500s, likely based on the root word for earth, like geodude. So we keep circling back to earth dwellers. Funny thing though, after Christianity altered the stories, many people believe that fairies and all fae creatures were fallen angels taken along during Lucifer's failed coup against the king. So basically, in the pre-Tolkien, post-Christian retcon timeline, fairies are demons and devils. I actually like the idea a lot that developed later, where fairies were too silly and mischievous to fall below the earth with the actual demons. So when they were cast out, they only fell halfway, and they were cursed to be on earth instead of hell. So from that perspective, they're half demons and half angels with no divine purpose. Another result of the big retcon is the division of classified fae, or she, or fairies. In Scotland, they were divided into the peaceful but vengeful Seelie court and the happily offensive Unseelie court. Or, in Ireland, they were divided into trooping fairies who ran around playing music and the solitary fairies who mess with you if you come to their house. These ones being banshees and leprechauns and probably hags. I think witches were like fae people. A prime example being Morgana Le Fay. On top of all that, we also have common stories attributed to fairy activity, one of the main ones being the story of the changeling. In essence, you shit out the world's ugliest baby and you don't want to take responsibility for it. Because the concept of a birth defect wasn't understood well, you could just say that fairies took your baby and replaced it with a goblin that you get to throw in the garbage can for free. So let's go ahead and retrace my steps really quick. A fairy is an elemental, a nymph, a dwarf, an elf, a gnome, a demon, an angel, a ghost, the undead, goblins, and also trolls and leprechauns, who I have yet to mention all range in size from smaller than a thumb to the size of Lady Dimitrescu. I almost forgot to add this in, but a kobold also is actually a fairy, and a sprite and a boggart and a goblin, but not a dragon. Originally, they were just little scaly dudes who looked vaguely dragon-like. Just about everything in and surrounding Germany had their own interpretations of how the world worked, and how mystical the world of the Fae was. The trooping fairies were eventually adapted into one of Shakespeare's plays, which is actually the first time the idea of royalty was introduced to fairies. The Midsummer's Dream story is essentially the king and the queen of fairies who show up to a wedding and start drugging people into a love square triangle. It's a weird shape. Constantly making mistakes until they pull the ending of the Super Mario Bros. 2 game to save face. That's the plot of this. But the idea of the two Fae courts comes from as far as I'm aware, a book that further divided fairies into good and bad. But they aren't good or bad. The name Seelie means silly, and unseelie essentially means mischievous. It's literally the guys who have fun and the guys who have fun at your expense. All right, so if I'm understanding this right, that's half of the entire D&D roster, and 90% of the Tolkien monsters are just being fairies. I know I'm detracting, and that's obviously why we call them fairy tales, but it's such a weird idea to think that fairies are not just a sprite. It's everything. It's every mythical thing. Oh yeah, and in Shakespeare's play, the Queen of Fairies falls in love with a donkey dude because a puka put juice in her eyes. The character Puck is a puka, which is a different kind of shape-shifting fairy that grabs people and runs around real fast. I might make a short video about them because they're in my book. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out on kind of a sad note. Most stories say that the fairies have long since gone, with very few of them only showing themselves to the elderly and the young. Because the old people who don't give a shit and the young who don't know anything are the only truly silly or mischievous people left. That's kind of a bummer, but I guess it means you can step into a fairy ring and be fine. Sorry. Goodbye.
If you're someone that suffers from having sensitive teeth, but you want them whiter, I recommend Sensodyne.
Oh,
It's
man.
interesting
Hey.
that they're all considered fae or fairies. That basically the fae or the word fairy is basically a term for all of those things. That makes more sense on why fairies are so prevalent in the fae, because they literally mean the word fairy is literally a sub of all of these creatures. They're all considered
Okay.
fairies.
Yeah. And that Thumbelina character, man, I used to watch that movie when I was little, but I can't stand to now because it's just sad.
Oh, dude, this is 21 minutes long. We can't watch this.
You can watch a little bit of it.
From the mist-covered moors to the hidden groves, across the lands of myth and legend, the Fae are watching, waiting, and sometimes
Well, that's creepy. as shit.
lurking.
Yeah.
It's Pantheon mythology, and these are the Fae creatures from across mythology and folklore. Lastly, before we begin, you love mythology, so be sure to check out our clothing brand, Pantheon Apparel. Here you'll find epic designs inspired by mythology, folklore, and legends. Let's get into it. Let's start things off with fairies, the most iconic of all Fae creatures. Often depicted as small ethereal beings with delicate wings, fairies are believed to inhabit a hidden world alongside our own, where they hold sway over nature, seasons, and even human fate. While some are kind-hearted, offering blessings or guidance, others are more mischievous, dangerous, and downright sinister. The Banshee, a spectral fae from Irish folklore, is known for her chilling wail that serves as a harbinger of death. She is said to appear near the homes of those about to lose a family member.
See, I didn't realize that banshees were fae.
I didn't either.
I always knew banshee from the paranormal spirit world. I never thought a banshee was legitimately fae, but I guess that makes sense, you know?
Her mournful cry piercing the silence of the night. Descriptions of the Banshee vary. Some see her as a young, ethereal woman with flowing hair, while others describe an aged hag with hollow, weeping eyes. Often dressed in white or grey, her presence is a terrifying reminder of the inevitable. The Banshee's keening is said to echo through the countryside, an unearthly sound that freezes those who hear it, knowing it foretells sorrow close at hand. The Banille, from Scottish folklore, is another seen as a harbinger of death. Known as the washerwoman at the ford, she appears near desolate streams or fords, washing the blood-stained garments of those destined to die. Descriptions of the Banille vary. Some depict her as a hag with a single nostril, a protruding tooth, and webbed feet, while others describe her as a small, pitiful figure resembling a child. Her presence is both ominous and sorrowful, embodying the inevitability of death. In some tales, if approached cautiously, She can reveal the names of those about to die and may even grant wishes. The Blue Cap is a fey entity from English and Scottish folklore, particularly associated with mining communities.
I've heard of the Blue
Manifesting as a small blue flame, the Blue Cap is believed to inhabit mines, guiding and assisting miners. Unlike many fey, Blue Caps are considered friendly, leading miners to rich mineral deposits and warning of potential dangers such as cave-ins. In return for their assistance, they expect fair compensation, typically equal to a miner's wage, left in a designated part of the mine. Overpayment is returned, and underpayment results in the Blue Cap ceasing its helpful activities. The Brownie, also from Scottish and English folklore, is renowned for its nocturnal assistance with domestic chores. Typically depicted as small, shaggy, and brown-skinned, brownies are said to inhabit homes and farms, performing tasks such as cleaning and organizing while the inhabitants sleep. They are generally benevolent, but can become...
Those are the little dudes that steal your remote control or your socks or your lighter when you can't find it. These guys right here are to blame.
Yeah.
110%. These guys steal your shit and then return it when they're done with it.
mischievous if offended. To maintain their favor, families traditionally leave offerings like milk, cream, or baked goods. However, gifting them clothing is believed to drive them away permanently. Across Europe, changelings were feared as a sinister replacement left by a fae, stealing away human infants in the dead of night. These fae children, frail and unnatural, were believed to bring misfortune to the families they infiltrated. Their hollow cries, unnatural intelligence, or eerie silence were signs of their otherworldly origin. Parents who suspected their child had been taken away by the fae would resort to desperate and often cruel rituals to expose the changeling, believing only then might their true child be returned. These tales painted a bleak picture of helplessness, where even a family's most cherished members were not safe from the reach of the fae. The Cluricorn, a solitary fae from Irish folklore, is infamous for its love of drinking and mischief. Often dressed in red with a rosy complexion, he is said to haunt wine cellars and pubs, indulging in nightly revelries. Like his industrious cousin, the leprechaun, he prefers causing trouble, such as riding sheep and dogs like horses until they collapse from exhaustion.
So this dude is basically just a drunk leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to be like, if I was a fey creature, that is what I want to be.
While generally harmless, his temper can lead to chaos, spoiling wine, or creating disturbances if disrespected.
Downy gives your sheets a delicate, fresh scent that breathes life into your laundry.
Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Or marble soup, treating him with respect, or offering a fine vintage, might just keep his antics at bay. The Derg Dua, translating to red bloodsucker in Irish, is a vampiric fae who was once a beautiful woman forced into a loveless marriage by her father, leading to her untimely death. Rising from her grave, she sought vengeance by seducing men and draining their blood. Unlike traditional vampires, the Derg Dua doesn't fear sunlight or religious symbols, making her a relentless predator. To prevent her from rising, locals would place stones over her grave, a practice believed to keep her spirit at rest. The Gan Connor, translating to love talker in Irish, is known for his seductive nature. Often depicted as a charming, handsome man, he is said to wander the countryside, enticing young women with his enchanting words and melodies. A distinctive feature is his ever-present clay pipe, from which he smokes and weaves spellbinding tales. Encounters with the Gan Connor are believed to lead to misfortune, as those who fall under his spell may waste away from unrequited love or become ensnared in tragic circumstances. Leprechauns are iconic fae, seen as small, bearded men clad in green coats and hats. Renowned for their mischievous nature, they are solitary fae who spend their time crafting shoes and hoarding gold. According to legend, they conceal their treasures at the end of a rainbow, making it nearly impossible to find. Cunning and elusive, Leprechauns are known to play tricks on those who attempt to capture them, often leading pursuers astray. Pixies are diminutive fae from British folklore, particularly associated with the moorlands of Devon and Cornwall. They are depicted as small, elven beings clad in green. They are known for their playful and mischievous nature. Pixies delight in leading travelers astray, a phenomenon known as being pixie-led, causing disorientation and confusion. They are also fond of dancing in moonlit glades and engaging in light-hearted pranks. The puka is known for its unpredictable nature, often appearing as a black horse with glowing eyes. The puka can take the form of a goat, dog, or even a human. While sometimes benevolent, offering advice or guidance, it is more commonly associated with mischief, leading travelers astray or causing minor havoc. In some tales, the puka is said to take unwary riders on wild nocturnal journeys, only to deposit them far from home by morning.
You know what that kind of sounds like? It kind of
What?
sounds like a skinwalker.
Yeah,
It
it
can
does.
change and shapeshift into whatever it wants, basically.
The red cap is a malevolent fae notorious for its bloodthirsty nature. Dwelling in the ruins of castles where wicked deeds have occurred, the red cap is depicted as a short, thick-set old man with long, prominent teeth, skinny fingers armed with talons like eagles, large fiery red eyes, grisly hair streaming down his shoulders, iron boots, and a pikestaff in his left hand and a red cap on his head. This sinister creature is said to murder travelers who seek refuge in its lair, soaking its cap in the blood of its victims, which gives it a crimson hue. Unaffected by human strength, the red cap can only be driven away by words of scripture or the brandishing of a crucifix, causing it to utter a dismal yell and vanish in flames, leaving behind a large tooth. The E15, also known as the Sidhe, are a supernatural race in Irish and Scottish mythology, often compared to fairies or elves. Believed to inhabit an invisible world that coexists with the human realm, they're said to dwell in the mounds or hills, which serve as portals to their otherworldly domain. The Ishi are considered to be remnants of the ancient deities, the Tuatha De Danann, who retreated to the otherworld upon the arrival of the Milesians. They are known to interact with humans, sometimes offering assistance, but can also be vengeful if disrespected. Traditionally, offerings of food and drink are left to appease them, and their abodes are treated with great respect to avoid incurring their wrath.
Yeah, don't disrespect them.
The Slua are malevolent fae, depicted as a host of the unforgiven dead. According to legend, they are the souls of sinners who, upon death, are cast out and become restless spirits. These spirits are said to travel in groups, resembling a flight of birds, and are believed to steal the souls of the living. The Slua are considered dangerous, and their presence is often associated with misfortune or death. In some tales, they are said to enter homes through open windows, seeking to capture the souls of the living. To protect oneself from the Slua, it is advised to keep windows closed at night and to avoid being outside after sunset. The Lianan Sidhe is a dark and alluring, seductive and dangerous muse. While she is known to inspire exceptional creativity and artistic brilliance in poets, musicians, and artists, her gifts come at a cost. The Lianan Sidhe feeds on the life force of her lovers, draining them of vitality as they bask in their newfound talent. Her lovers are often drawn into a passionate, intense affair that ends tragically, as they burn brightly with inspiration before quickly fading away.
Sounds like what happened.
She embodies the perilous side of artistic
Right.
genius,
Uh-huh.
often the allure of immortality through creativity, but at the price of one's soul. The Spriggan is a grotesque fae, known to be a withered old man. These creatures are believed to be the spirits of ancient giants, retaining their immense strength despite their diminutive size. Spriggans are notorious for guarding buried treasure and ancient ruins, particularly in the West Penwith region of Cornwall. They are known to cause mischief, such as raising sudden whirlwinds to terrify travelers, sending storms to blight crops, and sometimes stealing mortal children, leaving their ugly changelings in their place.
That's not good.
No, not
The
at
Tulworth
all.
Teg, meaning fair family in Welsh, are the fairy folk of Welsh folklore. They're often depicted as fair-haired ethereal beings who inhabit natural features such as caves, mountains, and ancient groves. Known for their enchanting beauty and magical abilities, the Tulworth Teg are believed to dance in moonlit glades, creating fairy rings, and are said to bestow riches upon those they favor. However, they are also known to be mischievous.
No. No one cares about
Sometimes
those stupid
kidnapping human
commercials.
children and leaving changelings in their place.
I know, I freaking
To appease
hate
them,
YouTube.
offerings of milk and cream are traditionally left out, and it is considered disrespectful to speak ill of them, as this may incur their wrath. Dwarves, a species from Germanic and Scandinavian folklore, are short, stocky beings with a deep connection to the earth. They're renowned for their exceptional craftsmanship, particularly mining and metalwork, and are frequently associated with mountains and underground realms. In early literary sources, only males are explicitly referred to as dwarves. Dwarves are known for their guardianship of animals, freeing wildlife from traps and protecting them when needed. Elves are a diverse group of fae, often depicted as ethereal beings with a deep connection to nature and magic. They are typically divided into two main categories: light elves, who are benevolent and graceful, and dark elves, who are more sinister and often linked to the underground or hidden realms. Elves are known for their beauty, longevity, and exceptional magical abilities. In folklore, they're also associated with mischief, sometimes
you wanna
causing
run into
ailments
them.
such as elf
No.
sickness.
The light elf.
The Hulda
fine.
is a captivating fae, known to be a beautiful woman with a distinctive animal feature, a cow's or fox's tail. In Norwegian traditions, she is known as the Huldra, while in Swedish folklore, she is referred to as the Skogsra, meaning forest spirit. The Hulda is known for her enchanting beauty and seductive nature, luring men into the forest, where they may become lost or trapped forever. In some tales, she seeks a human husband, but marrying one often comes with its own set of
so
challenges
weird.
and consequences.
Yeah.
She's like a
Kobolds are mischievous fae from Germanic folklore, often inhabiting homes and mines. In households, they are known to assist with chores such as tidying kitchens, but can also play pranks like hiding tools or tripping people. To maintain their favor, offerings like sweet milk and bread are left out. In mines, kobolds are believed to be guardians of treasures, sometimes leading miners to riches or causing accidents to protect their hoards. Their behavior varies, some are helpful, while others are troublesome. Moss people are small, moss-covered fairy creatures often found in forests or heathlands. Known for their grey, old-looking and hairy appearances, they blend in seamlessly with their natural surroundings, sometimes lying on the moss-covered ground to remain hidden. These fae are both helpful and mischievous, offering guidance or performing tasks for humans, but they can also become malevolent if disrespected. The Moss people are connected to the Wild Hunt, a supernatural procession in Germanic folklore, embodying the unpredictable and mysterious nature of the Fey world. Nixies are a type of water fae with the ability to shapeshift. Known for their captivating music, the male version sometimes takes the form of a handsome man to lure women into the water, where they meet a tragic end. While some stories portray Nixies as kind-hearted, offering protection or helping those in need, others depict them as dangerous tricksters, using their music to lure and drown unsuspecting victims.
basically a siren.
Fafade, a French fae, is a small mischievous creature standing about half a meter tall, who are wrinkled, brown-skinned beings that wear tattered brown clothing or go naked. They are known to be helpful rather than malicious, though playful and sometimes mischievous. Farfadets like to tend horses, grooming them or weaving ringlets into their manes. They live in woodland, but also attach themselves to a neighboring farm or homestead, completing odd tasks in the field in return for a bowl of milk or cream left on the doorstep at night. Corrigans are fae from Breton folklore, known for their small stature and mischievous nature. They inhabit forests, particularly the Brocéliande forest, and are closely tied to water sources like springs and rivers. Korrigans are considered descendants of ancient druidesses who resisted the spread of Christianity in Brittany. They are known for their enchanting singing and dancing, often using these talents to lure humans, especially men, into the forest. In some stories, their allure is sexual, with Korrigans seducing men to trap their hearts, dooming them to die from love.
Of course.
The Fossagrim is a malevolent fae known for its sinister nature and dangerous allure. This water spirit inhabits waterfalls and rivers, luring unsuspecting individuals with its enchanting music, played on the Hardanger fiddle. The Fossagrim's melodies are said to be so captivating that they can mesmerize listeners, drawing them into the water to drown. To protect oneself from the Fossagrim's influence, it is advised to avoid areas where it is known to dwell and be cautious of its enchanting
How do
music.
I know where it dwells?
Yeah.
The Shana is a fae from Asturian mythology in
I
Spain,
will avoid it.
renowned for her extraordinary beauty and ethereal presence. She is believed to inhabit natural water sources such as fountains, rivers, and waterfalls, particularly those with pure water. Shanas are known to offer treasures, including gold or silver, to those they deem worthy, and their hypnotic songs can be heard during spring and summer nights. Individuals with pure souls who hear the Shana's song are filled with a sense of peace and love, while those with impure souls may feel suffocated or driven insane. Nymphs are a race of fae that embody the spirits of nature, each associated with specific natural elements and features. In Greek mythology, they are depicted as beautiful ethereal beings inhabiting forests, rivers, mountains, and other natural landscapes. Nymphs are often portrayed as young women, embodying the vitality and beauty of the natural world. They are known for their close connection to the environment, playing roles as caretakers and protectors of their domains. Nymphs are generally kind-hearted, offering assistance to humans who show respect for nature, but they can become vengeful if their habitats are threatened or disrespected.
Don't disrespect.
Menehune are native fae of Hawaii, described as small dwarf-like beings inhabiting the forests and hidden valleys of the Hawaiian Islands far from human settlements. Known for their exceptional craftsmanship, the Menehune are credited with constructing temples, fish ponds, roads, canoes, and houses. Some of these structures, such as the Menehune fish pond on Kauai, still exist today, showcasing their remarkable engineering skills. The Menehune are nocturnal builders, working under the cover of darkness to complete their masterpieces. If they fail to finish their work by dawn, they leave it unfinished. Their favorite foods are bananas and fish, and they're said to be invisible to all but their children and humans connected to them. The Lady of the Lake is a powerful fae figure from Arthurian legend, known for her mystical abilities and significant role in the tales of King Arthur. She's often depicted as an enchantress who bestows Excalibur upon Arthur, solidifying his claim to the throne, and in some versions, she's also mother of Lancelot. Her character varies across different narratives, ranging from a benevolent figure who aids Arthur and his knights to a more enigmatic and capricious one. The Will-o'-the-Wisp is a spectral fae known for its eerie, flickering light that leads travelers astray. These elusive lights are often seen over marshes, bogs, or swamps, appearing as small glowing orbs that mimic the appearance of a lantern. When approached, the Will-o'-the-Wisp is said to move away, drawing the unwary deeper into treacherous terrain. This phenomenon is also known by various regional names, including jack-o'-lantern and ignis fatuus. In folklore, the Will-o'-the-Wisp is often associated with mischievous spirits or the souls of the dead. Throughout today's journey into the fae creatures from mythology and folklore, we've encountered beings that are as mysterious as they are mesmerizing. These fae, woven into the fabric of countless cultures, embody the fears, desires, and wonders that have shaped human belief for centuries. With each creature, we step closer to a world where the boundaries of the natural and supernatural blur, and where every flicker of light or whisper in the dark might reveal something far
crazier than anything else.
Yeah.
Those were all the creatures That stuff creeps me out a little bit.
It does. It
Some
makes
of
you
those
just,
just like whoa.
yeah. And then that one about King Arthur.
It's just a cigarette, and it
Ah,
cannot be that bad.
I don't know
You
what that
see?
was.
That's a goblin.
Is it a goblin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the 2 seconds of that song doesn't get us copyrighted.
Right.
I don't think it will.
No, it shouldn't.
Fairy is a term used to classify a vastly diverse group of creatures. Within the race that we call fairy, there are sub-races, clans if you like, such as spectres, beasts, water creatures, sea creatures, as well as humanoid type creatures. There are even accounts which suggest that the things that we call fairy could be the same as those we classify as cryptid creatures or even aliens. There is also much to suggest a crossover between fairy and spirits or ghosts and the afterlife too. Fairy is a term used to classify a vastly diverse group of creatures. Within the race that we call fairy, there are sub-races, clans if you like, such as spectres, beasts, water creatures, sea creatures, as well as humanoid type creatures. There are even accounts which suggest that the things that we call fairy could be the same as those we classify as cryptid creatures or
Yeah, I
even
don't know. I don't know if I believe the whole like could be also classified as cryptid creatures because that would like mean that Bigfoot was a fairy. I
Yeah.
don't I had to watch that like twice because I was like, what the hell did she just say? She's literally saying like the Loch Ness monster, Bigfoot, and like other weird cryptid stuff like Chupacabra, Mothman. Those are all fairies and fey creatures. Like, get out of here. No, they're
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Yeah, and then the way she was talking just made it creepy. Must be her voice.
But then again, a banshee's a fey figure, so
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
cryptids aren't fey. I don't consider cryptids fey.
Okay, here's the connection. Fae and cryptids can be related in some contexts, but they're not exactly the same thing.
Hmm.
Folklore connections. Some fae creatures, like the Iris Sidhe or the Scottish Kelpie, could be considered cryptids due to their elusive nature and lack of concrete evidence. Modern interpretations. In modern fiction and folklore, fae creatures might be depicted as cryptid-like with mysterious powers and abilities.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I don't believe Mothman or Bigfoot's a crypt. Like I don't believe that those are fairies, and I don't believe that
Well,
certain
no,
fairies
it's not
are.
saying that. Okay, so it's not saying cryptids are fae. It's not.
No, that's not. But she did.
Well, she's not. She doesn't know what she's talking.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. Is that's what that lady said? Is that
Right,
Yeah.
but
all the
what
cryptids in the
in reality, truthfully, fae can be considered cryptid-like because of the aspect
yeah,
of it of the. Let's see. Hold on. The I just
but
saw it.
wouldn't that make all Fae cryptid?
Yes.
because they're not found or seen by others. So I mean, if you want to say that like cryptids are fae, I mean then that's fine if we're going to classify fae themselves as cryptids.
Because of the side he and the kelpie could be considered cryptid-like.
So just those two then.
Yeah, those
So
two.
we can't call the
both
fae
fae.
cryptids then. We can only call two fae creatures are
Cryptids.
basically cryptids.
Well, okay. So kind of like the Rumpelstiltskin situation. They're
Oh
not.
god, don't bring that shit back
No,
up.
I'm not saying no because of the fact that he's fae-like. They're not cryptids. They're cryptid-like.
Yeah.
So they're not. They are, but they're not. But they aren't. So
Make up your mind.
no, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 kind of like aspect because with Rumpelstiltskin being kind of like fae-like, those two fays are cryptid-like, so they're not fully cryptids. They're just
Right.
like cryptids.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So in the aspect, that lady was but wasn't right.
Yeah. Well, she was wrong in calling all of them cryptid.
Right. Because you can't say all of them. You can only say
Well, because all of the fae isn't cryptids. I mean, in fae world or fae culture or whatever you want to call that in particular belief in the world, the fairies and those things are completely different than like the Loch Ness monster or Mothman or God forbid like King Kong or Godzilla. You know,
and when
like,
you're addressing the fae, you gotta say fair folk.
fae folk.
No,
You
not
can
fae.
call them fae folk.
Not fae folk. Hold on. I just said it earlier too. Hold on. I'm gonna relook it up.
Isn't it Fae Fair?
Hold on. I just said it earlier too.
Fair
So
folk. Fair folk.
hold on.
It wouldn't be fairy folk. It would be fair folk.
No. Okay, so
Or fae folk.
oh no, fair. Yeah, it's fair folk. Use
Yeah,
polite
fair
emphasis like fair folk. Like
Yeah, fair folk.
FAIR.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
Fair
so
folk.
okay.
Like that's like fairy people or fairy basically fairy folk. So like fairy people or the fairy belief system.
But in their terms, you can't say fairy. You gotta say fair folk. Because to them, if you say fairy, it's like an insult. You gotta be
Like
fair folk.
derogatory.
Yeah, it's a kind of like okay.
It's
So
like the N word for a fairy.
yeah, because
That's horrible.
like it's weird because when it comes to the Fae, you gotta use emphasis with them with certain words because if you don't say certain things correctly,
You have to be respectful.
yeah, and then they become the mischievous. Oh, we're gonna mess with you kind of like when it said about the brownies, never give them clothes as gifts because that will just make
Which
them
that reminded me of Dobby in Harry Potter. You know, like you give him a sock,
Yeah, about the
he's free to
sock.
go. So like, was Dobby one of those?
Well, no, Dobby was a house elf.
Right, but was that specific house elf in Harry Potter based off of that fair folk?
Give me a second. I'm going to look that up.
Because you give it clothes and it leaves. And what happens when you give the house elves clothes? They leave. They're free to go.
Yeah. But for Dobby, giving him the sock meant that he could stay with them. Or
I'm
something.
looking it up right now.
No, it meant that he was free. It meant that he was
Yeah.
free.
So this is what it says about house elves. House elves from Harry Potter series can be compared to certain types of fae creatures from European folklore. Similarities to domestic fae. Domestic fairies, or spirits, sorry. House elves, like some domestic fae, household spirits or brownies, are often depicted as being bound to specific locations, houses, or families, and performing domestic duties.
So they are like brownies.
Yeah, magical in
Okay.
nature. Both house elves and fey creatures possess magical abilities or characteristics that set them apart from humans. Specific fey comparisons: brownies. Like house elves, brownies are often depicted as small, mischievous, and helpful domestic spirits in Scottish and English folklore. They're also kind of like hobs. Hobs from English folklore are also similar to house elves in their association with homes and domestic duties. All right, now,
So Dobby's a brownie.
yeah. Well, also they're also hobs as well.
That's hilarious.
Right, but all right. So the unique characteristics of house elves: magical servitude. House elves in the Harry Potter series are bound to specific families and are often treated as servants, which is distinct from the typical depiction of fey creatures in folklore. So yeah, so in the two fey categories, they're brownies, which you were right about that, Rob, and hops.
Yeah, because that's what it seemed like that's what was being said in Harry Potter, and how basically it was the same exact thing. Like you give them clothes and they leave, or they are free to go.
Yeah. Which, in brownies terms, don't give them clothes because they don't like being gifted clothes.
No, they don't want clothes.
Yeah.
They just want food.
All right. Well, we are definitely going to have a part two.
Part three?
Yeah, another part three for the Fae. We have been going and going and going tonight, and this has been a great episode, but it's time to wrap up the show. So before we wrap up, I have up here, which crew will let you guys know what this is.
Okay, so it looks like we got some new merch.
This is the secret merch drop for the only one this season.
So it's limited edition, or is it going to be fully?
It's limited, but it's called the Robert and Cruz Show Smoker's Delight.
Ooh, Snooker's Delight.
And then we have, it's just a box with our logo on it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we have, what do we have now, crew?
Don't forget to look up our Robert and Cruz Show merch. Our Saturn Worship Robert and Cruz Show merch, which obviously we don't worship Saturn. It's ongoing topic that we've talked about on the show plenty of times. And this one is we have two two planet ones.
And this one is the one with the spaceship flying by Earth, and the other one is the Jupiter logo.
Yeah, and then we got my merch. We got the Crewinator for our Skynet series, which we do got Skynet Part 3 coming soon, but I'm not going to say when, because I don't know if we're going to do that tomorrow or not. We might do something different. Then we got the Cruise reptilian politician. Then we got the Nibiru crew alien shirts.
2 of them.
Yeah. Which obviously the joke is, I'm going to say this before we get on the next one. People keep saying that I'm a clone crew, which they don't understand that you cannot put clones with Nibiru. Nibiru clones come from what, bro?
The land of the clones.
The land of clones, which is not Nibiru. Now, back to the merch. This is our Bigfoot from outer space.
It's Bigfoot with a UFO behind it.
Yep. And then we got Bigfoot playing games with Yeti.
Yeah.
And then we got our Egyptian Robert Crusoe merch. And then we got from season 6 2 different variations of art throughout the ages. And then our season 7 cryptid series logo. Then our season 6 Robert Crusoe merch. Season 3 alien smoking a cigar.
And that's OG. This will be in the shop for quite a while, but it will be removed probably at the end of December. So if you guys want to get your hands on an OG shirt before it's gone for the Robert and Crew show, pick up the alien shirt. It's
me and Rob are in the talks of probably bringing some OG episodes for shirts more for like limited time. But that's on the shelf for right now. We're not thinking about doing that till probably next season. Kind of like what Rob said, we have a limited time shirt right now, so expect that, and we will have more merch coming out when next season comes.
There it is.
Yep, and we don't just have T-shirts; we have a variety of different items. We have backpacks, T-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, mugs, thermoses, you name it, we got it. But the T-shirts are the only ones that are 25% off.
Only on the newer merch. The alien shirt is not 25% off anymore, and there's only a week left of the shirts being on 25%. So after next week, I believe on Wednesday, guys, is no more. There's no more 25% off.
Unless Rob decides to...
Actually, I'm sorry. It says there's only 4 days left.
Oh,
wow.
So are you going to do another % off or no?
I will eventually.
Okay. Now we may, me and Rob might do 50% off on some items. It just depends on our mood and on special occasions. Like for holiday deals, we could do like 50% off for like holidays only.
Yep, for sure.
Now this is not a you have to.
Nope, merch is always optional.
Yeah, merch is always optional. Then we got our Venmo, which this is also optional, which if you wanted to, you can just donate to the show. More than welcome. Not a have to. The
always optional.
The only thing we want from y'all is what, Julie?
To watch, to share.
Yes, to share more than
but
anything.
Hey, you know what? I was gonna say that merch, you can use it for birthday gifts. Christmas will be here before we know it.
Yep. Christmas is on the way. Get your holiday stuff now.
Well, Christmas is not on the way yet. Halloween is actually on the way.
We will be releasing Halloween merch. We will be releasing Halloween merch.
Yep. And also, spoiler, Rob and I were in the talks. This is just a spoiler. We're not going to release it yet. But Rob and I are talking about doing an animated cryptid Robert and Crusoe merch.
Yep.
So if you love your cryptids and you love anime, both in one, because we already got the Bigfoot for our cryptid, so we might as well release more cryptids, but as anime form.
That'd be kind of neat. Now, hey, I wanted to shout out to Jamie for staying tuned all night to our show.
Oh, yeah. Jamie, thank you for tuning in all night, bud.
And thanks everybody else from Kick and Twitch who tuned in tonight. We had 4 or 5 viewers from Kick that tuned in. Thanks for actually joining and everything. It means the world to us. As always, like, share, subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with whoever you think will enjoy this kind of content.
And Jamie, welcome back to the Robert and Cruz Show. We missed you, bud. You're one of our favorite viewers.
We always miss our regulars.
Yeah, we do. And we didn't hear from Elsta tonight.
We did not hear from Elsta tonight. He's probably got other stuff going on.
Yeah, it happens.
All right, guys. This is it for the Robert and Cruz Show.
Much tune in tomorrow night on another good episode.
We'll get it ready for you. Check the Facebook page. We'll have it. Peace.
Can you believe Season 7 just keeps getting wilder? Thanks for tuning in, podcast pals. From ghost stories to headline news and epic Euro travel, we've covered it all, plus a side of laughs. Don't miss out. Hit subscribe and join us next time for more news, thrills, and adventures. See you soon.